Welcome to Your Bookkeeping Matters. I'm your host, Lisa Turner, a professional bookkeeper, registered BAS agent, and your small business cheerleader and mentor. I'm also a wife and mum to 2 little people. This podcast is for small business owners who want to manage their numbers the right way. It will be short and sweet episodes each week on business and bookkeeping matters in an easy to understand way with real quick tips or changes you can put in place, having a huge positive impact at the same time up-leveling yourself, so you can be in control and confident that you know your bookkeeping matters. Let's dive into this week's episode. When it comes to your finance matters, it's important to have both a bookkeeper and an accountant on your team. It's really common to think that we're the same, or if you have one, you don't need the other. Well, today's super short and snackable episode, I'll explain the differences and the similarities between our 2 roles and why you do need both of them. To start off with, a bookkeeper looks after tracking your financial transactions and keeping really accurate records of your business's finances for things that have already happened. And a great bookkeeper can also analyse that financial data and give you some insights about your business's performance. Your accountant also does some deep diving analysis to give you growth, taxation, and structural advice. And of course, look after your income tax returns. Together, we make a pretty powerful finance team that can help you make some really sound financial decisions for your business. Now, we've already covered off bookkeeping and what a bookkeeper does back in episode 1, so I'll just give you a bit of an outline today. A bookkeeper looks after the day-to-day for the business. That's the transaction processing, like invoices from suppliers, or the bank transactions, raising invoices to customers, following up on overdue amounts, reconciling bank accounts, payroll, super, all those kind of things. A bookkeeper will also look after your monthly and quarterly BAS or IAS reporting, and that is a business activity statement or installment activity statement. And episode 6 breaks down those 2 reports for you. Let me just pause and remind you that your external bookkeeper needs to be a registered BAS agent to be allowed to do nearly all of those things. So now what does your accountant or tax agent do? Now I'm going to call them a tax agent while we talk about these things, and I'll clarify why after. Your tax agent is allowed to do all the things your bookkeeper or BAS agent can do, because all these tasks are also allowed when you're a registered tax agent with the Tax Practitioners Board. They can, however, do more things that we BAS agents or bookkeepers can't. Things like your taxation advice for both personal and business, letting you know what you can and can't claim on your tax returns. They can let you know your tax percentage, how much you should look to save, and this will always be an estimate, of course, but they will work really closely with you on it. They'll also let you know best how to do certain things for the best tax advantages that work for your business structure and your circumstances. So they can, of course, also help with structural advice, as they will know your finances overall, both personal and business. Tax agents also get to help you with the fun stuff like audits, financial management advice, reporting, and compliance. Think top-level stuff to help with your planning, growth, and tax. And as their name says, your tax returns for both individuals and businesses. Now, I call them tax agents and not accountants here because, like everything, people specialize. Not all accountants are tax agents, so they can't all do your tax. And if they're not BAS agents, they also can't do your bookkeeping or your BAS. Some accountants are CPA, Certified Practicing Accountants, or CA, Chartered Accountants, or there are other registrations or degree qualified accountants, for example. But unless they either have tax or BAS agent registration, they can't do any of these things. They also can't give financial advice without certain registrations. But many, dare I say, most accountants have got their tax agent registration. So just like when you check if your bookkeeper is a BAS agent, check that the person or the business doing your tax returns is a tax agent or their company is a tax agent, in which case they will then also be employing BAS or tax agents. Back to specialising. Being a tax agent gives you a pretty broad scope of work you're allowed to do for your clients. So when I asked my tax agent, why did she prefer to focus on the tax and refer the bookkeeping work to me? And her answer was pretty simple. She specialises in the tax area and keeps up to date with that and loves that. She knows it inside out and prefers to have the bookkeeping done by someone who specialises in that area. And to me, she doesn't have the time and doesn't want to keep up to date on everything. There are only so many hours in the day. And after chatting with a few other tax agents, they all have exactly the same view. They specialise in the tax and the top level value add-on for the clients, and we bookkeepers keep the daily and the detail top notch so that the tax agents know the data they're working with is accurate. You'll find generally if tax agents do offer bookkeeping, they'll have an in-house bookkeeper who specialises and looks after the bookkeeping. And it all makes perfect sense. You can't be all things to everyone, just like I'm not the bookkeeper for everyone. Because bookkeeping and taxation are two totally different but complementary areas we work on, and we each have our unique skill set. Now, there seems to be a bit of a myth around that bookkeepers don't work well with accountants and accountants don't like bookkeepers. The truth is, the good ones work really well together, chat all the time, and always have our client's best interest at heart. The key is communication, the same as any relationship at all, really. You need a bookkeeper on the team to keep track of your day-to-day numbers and look after your payroll and BAS. And just as importantly, you need a tax agent to go to for all your taxation, advice, returns, strategy, analytics. And if you want to have a successful business and a growing one, we are here together cheering you on and supporting you every step of the way. We go together like Monica and Chandler, and you're our Joey that we both love and support. If you're looking for a bit of support from us here at Team AFY, you can join our free Numbers Club. Search Accounted For You Numbers Club on Facebook or check out the link in the show notes. We have live sessions, reminders, tips on all things numbers, or go and book a free discovery call with me if you're keen to know more about outsourcing your books. Now, if you loved today's short and sweet episode, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And it would really make my day if you left a review to help these matters reach and help more small business owners. Catch you next week.